In a week which Dynamite celebrated its 300th episode, collision with its 100th, and we move to within 1 week of probably AEW's biggest event in America since maybe 2019. Who knows? We're going to get into that and a whole lot more with someone who we haven't seen in a while. I've obviously spoken to the young man, but I hadn't seen him in a while on this channel. He is back. He is busy. He's doing a lot of great stuff across the pond, especially all things AEW. That would be the Follow the Revolution founder and Honor the Elite back on Instagram, Mr. Gary Joe. Good afternoon, sir.
Well, good afternoon to you, man. Hopefully you guys been well. Yeah, dude, it's been quite the me being very productive, but glad to be here today as always, man.
Yeah, glad to always have you on to chat AEW. As I said, it feels like it's been forever since we've had a
2 months.
conversation. Yeah, a long time. A lot has happened in that. We'll get into Dynamite. Well, we'll get into talking about stuff on Dynamite Collision and All in a minute. I was just talking to you before we started today, and I said I said to you that I'm going to be talking to David about this as well, just on a separate show in a little bit later on. I just wanted to get your thoughts on this first. Now, boy, I think back in 20, maybe at the end of 2023, I think me and David were sitting here, we're talking about how we think over the next 12 to 24 months, we're going to be seeing a hell of a lot of moves between companies, talent switching, leaving one company, going to another. I'm going to talk about the AEW rumors. Should we have rumors of people coming in to AEW first to get your opinion? There's two in particular that have crossed that I've read on the internet. Sorry, that to discuss. Both in the women's division. Obviously, Alex Windsor is in as well from the Good UK, so she'll be probably in the women's casino gauntlet. Perhaps we'll see. But two in particular that caught my attention: Dakota Kai. Being one of those. Now, she was very close to signing with AEW, I think nearly at the inception part. I believe that then she got the offer to return back to WWE, which she accepted. Didn't really get used, which is not surprising. Not because she's not good enough, which is because it's not surprising that talent go there and don't get used. She's one of the ones, and Isla Dawn being the second. Now she's actually even been to, I think, there's even as far as been at an AEW show recently, and perhaps even a third. Gigi Dolan, maybe Priscilla Kelly coming in as well, but with a division as stacked as the women's division and the men's, to be fair, in AEW, do you think that they will be good acquisitions? Is it better for them to perhaps stay on the indies? Where are you in the basis of these two potentially three coming in?
To tell you the truth, man, I'm hoping they just hit the indie scene for a while. Get their footing, see if they, what they like. It's always finding, your next possible destination, and I firmly believe that does start with the indie circuit. I think Isla would be great, even in Stardom. When she that certainly could be a great possibility. I mean, look what B Priestley did. Like, did we ever expect that? I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was great for her. Dakota Kai, obviously, coming from Stardom as well, that would be a great opportunity for her. If I do have to pick two of those, and I'm sure you guys seen a report that AEW is being very,
Mm.
skeptical for who they are
Yeah.
future signing. Very good move from AEW, honestly. I would like to see Dakota Kai. That's nothing to take away from Isla Dawn. I think she's an amazing talent as well. Very great on the mic, obviously. No. But I would certainly pick Dakota Kai for sure. Now, let's say if Isla Dawn makes the jump before possibly, Dakota Kai, if it ever happens. I mean, I could see with these rumors coming out about the women tag team titles. I think Isla would be great with that. I think those two would really mesh well together, and we shall see, man. This is one thing I love about free agency. We can speculate, we can guess, we can fantasy book. It's a lot of fun when it comes to free agency. It's like me being an Eagles fan for the NFL. I want to make sure we get great acquisitions too, and make us have a really great team for that division, so to speak. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. If the departure does happen with a certain name next year, I think I need to go to the dentist sooner rather than later. I mean, it's been like a year, but um, that was a little pun for who I was just talking about. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. The women's division is really picking up a lot of steam right now, and I love it.
Yeah, it is really, really good. We will talk about the dentist in a minute. We've both got appointments there. We're going to have to talk about her in a second. There was just one other name that hasn't been mentioned as such as a report, but obviously been released, and she's spoken about. Obviously everyone wants to go to AEW, now they're free agents. It's sort of like, when you're kind of working for a promotion and someone talks about another one, you're not interested, but the moment you're released, everyone's interested in going elsewhere. I think Elektra Lopez, funny enough, went to NWA. It was a taping this week for NWA. But the other one was Cora Jade. She kind of mentioned on Chris Van Vliet that she was very open to AEW again. I just don't right now. I think you're right, and I think AEW is right in being very particular with signings, because when you're new and you're a new promotion, yes, you need the people to come in, and there was a plethora of talent coming in, and they've done that for quite a while. I do, and you rightfully say that tag division, when the women's tag team champions do start, well, they'll definitely need a couple, but they've got a lot in Ring of Honor anyway that they can use. But with someone like Cora Jade as well, is it a case of being very particular, maybe Tony choosing one or two out of the four or five that are out there?
I mean, I really can't speak for Tony. I don't think none of us can. Corey Jade would be interesting. I mean, I will say, obviously, she was catching a lot of people's eyes when she was on Dark, and that's when she,
Mm.
put a print in her name with WWE, and I think that's great. That's one thing I miss about Dark, actually. A lot of these indie sensations, what I like to call them, they're getting noticed. So, um, could I see her in AEW? I mean, it's certainly a possibility, but something that happened with her and Sky Blue a while back, I don't know if that could happen.
Yeah.
But then again, rumors are just rumors. You never know if it's real or not. But let's see if that does happen. I mean, can you just imagine Cora Jade and Sky Blue like as a tag team, because they are known for we love hardcore wrestling.
Yeah.
So that would be quite the destructive duo, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm going to pass on Cora Jade just for right now. I like what she's doing in GCW, though. I will say that.
Yeah, she's doing great over there. The other thing, just quickly, I just want to quickly mention TNA. With that partnership with the WWE, do you think that it affects perhaps the release people not going there because of that affiliation? Not because I don't want to go to TNA, but because WWE are there. Do you think that's kind of like, I don't know if I want to go here just because they've just got rid of me and something? Would that be something that perhaps as a wrestler you would feel a bit uneasy about?
This is why this podcast is awesome. You bring questions. To tell you the truth, Adam, I actually said this on my TikTok channel here a couple weeks ago. I even said that whenever somebody becomes a free agent, I think they don't need to necessarily sign with TNA, because everything, I mean, again, it's all speculation, but it just feels so close that WWE is going to potentially buy TNA. And then even if that doesn't happen, right? Like it just, and I'm not making this sound bad, but you sign with TNA and then you're just going to be back working with WWE because of the relationship. And that's not, like I said, that's not a bad thing, but it just makes me head scratch like, well, what's the point? You
Yeah.
know? Um, this is why I like this era of wrestling. There's just so many opportunities. I mean, I've watched your episode with, yes, Bear.
Yeah, Bear Bronze. Yeah.
Whew, I almost said Boulder. But
That
with
may have
Bear,
not reached the air, to be honest with you.
yeah. And I loved his answer in the beginning, where you asked him, where could he you see himself going.
Mm.
His mindset is just, okay, I'm going to get my foot in the door, whether that's for my local indie scene or just for something fun. And that's what he was elaborating on. And um, that's what I hope for the talent is just if they're happy where they go, great. But just remember, it just feels like WWE is really not the all and be all anymore,
No.
you know. And I think that's great for wrestling, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, we'll get that point back in a minute. Actually, I'll have another question. But before that, let's just concentrate on the rumors and the speculation about people potentially leaving. We'll get to the dentist in a minute. There were some other names that come across my table this week. Private Party and Danhausen were the names that were linked. I mean, if they go to NXT, it'll be like Rampage, won't it? It will literally, with all the talent that you've got there, you may as well call it NXT Rampage. Look, of all the names that, like, were linked away, and on the names that me and David were talking about a year or so ago, I don't see how any of these tag or private party and Dano's, not because they're not good. I just never envisaged any interest from the WWE in these names. The tag division isn't really there unless they're going to make it there for someone like a private party to come in. Danhausen, yeah, he's another gimmick. I don't like to use that word, but he's a comedy character, right?
Mhm.
Yes, you kind of lost that with Ron Killings and that, but those now, I don't know, Gary. I just never thought those names would be heard of as potential WWE acquisitions for me.
You know what's crazy, Adam, is it's funny how the tables have turned. Now it looks like WWE wants what AEW has been growing with. I don't care what anybody says. This just shows time and time again. AEW is creating stars, and WWE wants those stars. The whole thing with Private Party, man, I hate being so negative on this, but man, I'm just going to be real, just like you are, man. Like they just will come off as another, street profits.
Mm.
People are going to be like, oh no, that's not necessarily true. I'm like, what have you been watching? um, I mean, maybe they would just have their own little skit where it would be a little different, which I'm going to talk about that in 1 second with somebody else. But I would like to touch up on the Danhausen one. I
Mm.
think it's no brainer that he's going to go there. He likes Phil Brooks, and he has always liked Phil Brooks. And you know, you do make a great point with the Ron Killings thing. Yeah, I mean, now that he is a whole new demeanor, which I feel WB really, excuse me, has really hurt ever since coming back. In my opinion on that. And yeah, Danhausen will really fill the void of comedy. They're the form of entertainment, and I just think what WWE's goal is to, okay, well, now we're going to take your heavy hitters.
Mm.
But it's business, right? We know that. Um, but I have, if they decide to go, my enthusiasm level between 1 out of 10, 10 being all excited, one being not even excited. I'm giving it a 3. I'm not all jazzed about the thought of that. But it is what it is. I'm going to say one thing too. This might be a hot take. I said this on my TikTok channel as well. I think it's kind of funny that I'm very happy for her, though, Blake Monroe, Mariah May,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call her as. It's just, in like, man, I want to be happy for that too, but it's just clearly a Tony Storm 2.0. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I want to be all excited for it, but like when I saw the promo that she cut a couple of weeks ago with the people in the backstage, I thought it was funny. I liked it, but instant thought was like, oh no, no, you're pulling a Tony Storm, man. Like it's gonna be tough, you know.
Yeah.
Wrestling fans are very critical. They're very honest and open minded, but yeah, I don't know. But again, AEW creates stars, but
They
people don't
do.
want to admit that. So, except us and a few other people, I'm sure.
Yes, and of course Mariah May or Blake Monroe. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't want to get. I don't want to get into that right now with her. Okay, let's now open up the teeth, so to speak, and talk about this dentist. Look, Britt Baker. We all know, regardless, there was rumors, oh, that she's gone, she's going, and that's not going to happen right now. She's still under contract with AEW. They may add some time onto her deal for injury, like any company would do if you were in that position. But it does feel, and if you go back to the Ray Phoenixes, the Pentas, and more recently Mariah May, even as you mentioned just then, that when a talent has kind of hinted or maybe has even said to Tony, I want to go, that's, I want out of my contract, or I want to, you don't see them. Now, Britt has never shied away from controversy, being on air or off air. We've seen a little bit of that happen. Haven't seen her in a while, but if I was a betting man, unless there's an almighty swerve, so to speak, and she comes out of the casino gauntlet, which anything can happen next week at All In, it does appear that perhaps Britt is leaning towards going to the WWE, or at least leaving AEW the moment the contract is up.
yeah. I mean, I think I mentioned this to Mongo. Like, if in fact she does, like, man, it's not just to him either. It's like the women's chat that I'm a part of. If she does not make a appearance in that
Yeah.
gauntlet, what's really left to prove? Like us thinking, okay, well, there anything is possible. I mean, anything really is possible. With that 1 year left on her contract, maybe something could change. But man, I don't know, and it sucks because honestly, I love Britt. She is easily one of my favorites in the women's division. Um, but I, man, I just can't believe I don't have an answer for it. It's just, I really could see it happen for sure, and that's what she wants. Very happy for her, regardless. You know,
Yeah. We'll see.
I mean, she does live in Orlando,
Yeah,
and that's what Mariah May did, and there you go. So,
exactly.
but I don't know. We shall see. It's going to be very interesting, and I think a lot of people should hope that Britt comes back on Saturday because I mean, I want to see her and Diona, be used. I love Diona
Yeah.
Purrazzo, and um, I think that's what Diona wanted, and or Britt wanted. Them to have a tag team, and that would be a really good tag team, honestly. Again, women's titles are coming up soon, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of opportunity there with those two.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. Look, we'll see. Hopefully it's not the end of Britt Baker in AEW. I think I agree with you. I think Saturday will be the telling moment, so to speak. If that music doesn't hit in the gauntlet, then I think it's a sound bet that Britt would be finishing up as soon as possible with AEW. You touched on a point earlier, and I wanted to bring it back up, and I did mention this to David last week, or maybe last week. There seems to be a lot of discontent within the WWE fan base at the moment, from what I've been seeing. Some of it's product related, some of it's ticket pricing. Trust me, I've been there with ticket pricing. I can absolutely adhere to that. A lot of the gripes, me being a big WWE fan, as you know, I'll tell you, my gripe is right now is I feel as if it's so much more to do with people that's not even wrestlers, like Travis Scott and people like that coming in and hogging the limelight where there's no real need to and stuff like that. But there is a lot of discontent. AEW seems to be doing a lot of things right, from everything from the show that they put on. Just everything's compelling. Is this a prime time, so to speak, for Tony to kind of, I don't know, not saying up the game of AEW, but perhaps start to maybe bring some of those disgruntled fans over to, I mean, I know you can't literally pick them and say, I want you. But is it sort of a good time for maybe AEW and All In, maybe a great opportunity to show that these disgruntled WWE fans that, hey, look, you may have never watched AEW, you may have watched AEW in the past. Come back and have a look and see what we're doing now.
It's funny that you bring that up, Adam. Ever since I've been more, active on TikTok, that's a strong community with millions of people voicing their opinions. I do have quite a few followers on there that are not just AEW fans. They are certainly just WWE fans, and they are disgruntled with the product. Whether it's, I don't care, man. Their booking, it's just makes no sense. I do watch WWE because I do predictions with my friends Jeff. His league, it's a lot of fun, but so I had to pay attention. And these highlights that I watch, it's a good portion of the shows, and I'm like, why are we putting Trish Stratus against Tiffany Stratton? Why are we doing a appearance with Jelly Roll, which is a music artist? Why are we doing celebrity cameos? And I see a lot of people talk about the tickets when it comes to Evolution 2 this weekend. And WWE's problem that they have right now is they think, oh, well, we are really the untouchable machine. Everybody will come to our shows. You are putting the women in a 13,000 plus arena, and only 4,800 tickets have been sold. That's concerning. And the women really don't deserve that, And I hate that because it's really unfair to them. And you're doing Saturday night main event with your headline being Bill Goldberg. Why? I've said this to Mongo, and I've said this to quite a few people as well, and even some of those people that like WWE on that TikTok channel of mine. Most of them do agree with me. Is Triple H feels like now, okay, I am going to get into the habit of my father-in-law's booking. I'm sorry. It's just, I saw somebody make one take, don't be surprised that TKO is in debt in the next year or two. Saudi's going to buy WWE. That would be bizarre. But yeah, when it comes to this weekend too, you're doing 3 shows. Yeah. 3 shows in 2 days. You're just taking and gouging people's pockets. Like, that's not fair to the fans. I'm keeping this wrapped up and forever, and I'm glad that I can say it here on Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. That notification bell to this page. Channel, sorry. But yeah, dude, the company seems out of sorts. It just, I trust Fightful Select with reporting, and what they reported a couple days ago, that the women in that locker room is frustrated for how the world has become, and rightfully so. Everything just feels so rushed, and you're doing not only 3 shows in 2 days, but you're not spreading out your PLEs.
Yeah.
And it just, this to me makes me believe there is just WWE and 2KO, they have one mission: money. And I get it. People are going to say, well, that's how the business works. Not when you're an intelligent wrestling fan thinking smart, I'm not saying they're in trouble, but man, they're in a mess. I always say tickets could be one thing. A crowd may be having 12, 13,000 people in that arena. That may be one thing, but that does not mean the product needs to be examined, because it's just, in the words of my great UK friends, it's bloody awful. I'm sorry, just my take, Adam.
No, I agree. It's been a tough watch. Let's just say that. But let's get into some proper AEW stuff now. Obviously, a week away from All In, as we've been speaking about. Big shout out to Chris Statlander, Eve Wrestling champion, women's champion, by the way. Great result. Julia Hart and Sky Blue being on the next show. Well, not the next one, the one after. Sorry, there's two shows that Eva running, which is produced by Sir William of Osprey over here in the UK, as along with Dan as well. They put on some great stuff. So congratulations, Statlander, and welcome to Julia Hart and Sky Blue on All In weekend. Should be fun. But as we go into All In, I call him William of Osprey now. He's ruffled a few feathers with Swerve this week on AEW because he upped the ante to get the EVPs, Matt and Nicholas Jackson, to agree to this tag match at All In. So Matt and Nicholas Jackson have put their EVP statuses on the line. However, a caveat that Swerve and will not be able to go for the World Heavyweight Championship for one whole year should they lose. Swerve, I think, put out on X, sometimes, brother, you really piss me off or something like that. And Will responded, yep, I know. Um, I think I heard Mongo say something about Jack Perry. And I think he was at the impression that he was going to cost the Young Bucks the EVP thing. I'm going the other way with that. I think Jack costs Will and Swerve because my prediction all along was that Will wins the title All In next year. For him to do that, he can't really compete for the championship. Either Osprey and Swerve have a bit of miscommunication in that match, which costs them, or for me, Jack Perry comes in and costs them the opportunity at the world title. Where do you stand on that?
Boy, Mongo and his tinfoil hat of theory might win again. Oh man, this match should be very exciting. There could be a lot of things how they can go with this. Let me just say, All In is very unpredictable this year. I
Yep.
love it a lot. Jack Perry certainly could be that possibility. You know, it's just crazy that they, and I quote from Meltzer, that they have nothing for him right now. We shall see. Um, if it's not going to be that, let's say both predictions for both possible winners. Young Bucks, yeah, they win. Great, wonderful. What's next for them?
Mm.
But if Swerve and Will wins, I think actually, you know what? Yeah, let's say the Young Bucks win. You have a chance of having Bruv and Swerve to maybe go for the tag team titles, elevate that a lot. That would be great. I wouldn't hate that at all. Now, I even said this too in my prediction. I think the Young Bucks certainly do win. And then, yeah, it's disappointing. Swerve and Osprey, what are they going to do for the next year now that they can't go for the world title? What people don't forget, seem to remember rather, is the unified title is now going to be their secondary world title.
Yep.
This could be an opportunity for Swerve to get back into the mix. I get it's not the AEW world title, but hey, if this is the closest that it can get to maybe the world title, I'll be happy regardless. And Swerve always being a good story, I feel, if that's not the case. As for Osprey, very much agree. 13 months from now, so a little over a year, is off to Wembley again. So that would mean much more for Will, more than, no offense to the audiences in America, but it wouldn't come close to what Will would get.
No, exactly that.
I very much agree with that.
Yeah, so, I think that's going to happen. I do. My belief is that, but it's going to be, as you say, a hell of a contest between those two. As we'll get predictions done at the end. The the fatal four-way spot. By the way, Mark Briscoe's new top is outstanding for those who haven't seen it. Taking the piss out of MJF's little pickle or kosher little pickle, shall we say? And has now printed that onto a shirt is priceless. But the aforementioned kosher little pickle was in action this week. He managed to get the number 2 spot in the Casino Gauntlet. Actually, what we'll do is we'll talk about that, and then we'll have a prediction for the Casino Gauntlet. We don't really know who's in it all yet, but we can just throw a name out there, can't we? A really good. Yeah, this was it was a comedy. It was a bit of a comedy four-way. The action did get serious at the end. It was a great multi-man match to have. The Casino Gauntlet is really shaping up to be an exciting one. It was it was a great picture of Brody King and MJF this week as well during that match. But thoughts on the MJF, Ben, and also the thoughts on who at this moment in time, the week before the event, do you think's walking out of the men's Casino Gauntlet the winner?
Mm. Well, what I could predict in the match overall, I can see some returns. I could see Jay White. I could see Adam Copeland.
Yep.
I think this is going to be better than what we saw at All In last year. And man, did we maybe see a debut? I don't think we're going to see a debut personally. I think they just stick with their existing roster right now. But the winner, I think, is going to be MJF. I think the writing is on the wall for me for that. Fun fact: MJF has not lost a battle royal. So I think the story is written when it comes to the main event as well, and I'm going to dive more into that once we continue this episode. But yeah, I think it's going to be Max and his little kosher pickle, and he will celebrate with the media scrum, eating a pickle. It's it's just some people think, well, MJF has been wasted since he lost the title. I don't think so. MJF, when he's in something different, it just works. And oh man, I'm really liking MJF and Mark Briscoe at the moment. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really is. It's a highlight of seeing that for sure. I think it's been brilliant. I kind of tend to agree. I was edging towards Copeland, but I think something's going to happen at All In, which will bring Copeland back. It won't be the Casino Gauntlet at this point, and we'll get into it in a minute. But one of the things I need to shout out before this, Okada and Ibushi this week was absolutely incredible. I know they've had their matches in the past, but for those like people that haven't managed to see it, all those matches in the past, and they can see this one was outstanding. Obviously, it brung a Omega out at the end. The Golden Lovers sort of reunited a little bit there, but wow, I mean, those two had an incredible match ahead of All In. We know that Okada and Omega are going to tear the house down, and that match was brilliant. But who is your pick for the with the Kenny Omega's match at All In?
See, this one is certainly unpredictable as well, I think.
Yeah,
Um, mm, Now that Okada's with the Callis family, oh boy.
yeah,
Who's going to be there besides, Ibushi helping out Kenny? Some shenanigans happen, which I might see happening. I don't know if they should do any shenanigans. These are two legends, so when there's a meaningful match, I do admit Tony Buck's a very clean winner. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with Omega. I think Kenny really deserves this, especially everything that he's been through, especially with his unfortunate health. He battled through everything. He battled, cried right through it. There you go. Here's your stupid cheesy pun of the day, but but yeah, for sure, man. I'm gonna go with that.
yeah. No, I agree. I don't know. Part of me thinks Okada might steal it, but I kind of moving towards Omega on that particular one. No doubt it's going to be a hell of a contest, regardless of regardless of the outcome. It's going to be a crazy match to see, and probably one of the best. It's hard to pick. I mean, you look at that card at the minute, and like you're saying that's going to be match of the night, and then you read another two matches down, you're like, oh, there's match of the night, and then you're going down a bit further. It's going to be an incredible one. That's for sure. I just want to shout out the Outrunners and FTR, by the way, for their
Oh
tag
my
match
gosh,
this week on Collision.
that was insane, man.
If you wanted, if anyone wanted tag team wrestling in 2025, or someone just said that define tag wrestling, Gary, or what, give me a match that defines tag wrestling. That would be the match you point them to, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I will say I'm a little bit of a constructive critic when it comes to AEW's tag team division as of late, but um, you just when you see this match, it just shows again, wow, when you put them out there for 18, if you want to include the commercial time, 20-minute plus, like what an amazing match. What a great performance. I think time and time again, the Outrunners should be taken seriously. Like, and that's what I love about FTR. People can have their views on FTR, but it's not fuck the revival, man. It's a really, really great tag team for sure.
Yeah.
But that match really could, yeah, I very much agree. If you want to watch a match this summer to remember, granted, this was only on a collision that was taped already.
Yeah.
It was great. I had some followers even message me saying, "Oh, you won't believe the match that we just saw. You're gonna like the match with FTR and the Outrunners." Yeah, they were not lying. What a good match.
It was a tremendous match. Again, it exemplifies the 100th episode of Collision very, very well. But it did start with Shelton Benjamin and Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight, by the way, an unsung hero right now in AEW. He's had some brilliant matches since signing. It was one signing that kind of took me a bit by surprise, Kevin Knight, but he's been absolutely fantastic. He did pick up a victory. I thought it was quite a surprise victory over Shelton Benjamin, considering the Hurt Business and where they've been going as of late, moving towards the Hurt Business, the Hurt Syndicate. Geez, I'm starting to get confused myself. The Hurt Syndicate. Obviously they're going against Jet Speed and the Patriarchy at All In. I'm going to give you my thoughts on that in a minute, but Kevin Knight, unsung hero for you as well, Gary. And who walks out of All In tag team champions?
Unsung hero is a great two words that could really, put a great emphasis on Kevin Knight. He's been great, man. I really love the angle, even on Dynamite. Him and Speedy. They wouldn't just show. You know what? We are a really good team. Take us seriously. And Kevin Knight, when he was part of the tournament in Japan, I got more of a glimpse out of him with that tournament. I thought he did really well, but man, he's been great, absolutely in AEW. As for the winner, I mean, come on now, everybody likes to see a great story between father and son. Yeah. I don't think they're going to win. Who I think is certainly going to win is, I think the Hurt Syndicate does retain. I'd rather see Jet Speed, if I can be honest. But yeah, I think the run continues with the Hurt Syndicate, and everybody still will be hurt.
They certainly will be. I can see that. I can see the Hurt, but I think it's out of Hurt Business and Jet Speed. I think that the Patriarchy will be the team that gets the pin, eats the pin. Sorry, in this, and then for me, that's what sets up son turning on father in this case with Nick Wayne and Christian Cage. And my point then pointing to the fact that that's where I see Copeland coming back in maybe to a may I don't know where Luchasaurus is. I don't know how his health is. I don't know if that's or Kill Switch. Sorry, I don't know if that's something that can play into it as well. He could potentially return and start the beat down, and then Adam Copeland's music hits. He comes out, cleans house. Him and Christian are in the ring. They don't embrace or anything like that. It kind of Christian just walks out maybe on Copeland or something along those lines. But I know that Christian Cage wanted to hold off on doing anything with Copeland until the stuff with Nick Wayne's finished. But perhaps that's how you end it and then go to the races with Copeland and Christian.
I actually could see something very similar to that, but I actually see Nick Wayne turning on Christian Cage, if you think about it, being like, I don't need you by my side anymore. He's this cocky young kid. He's getting ahead of himself. And yeah, man, we've been saying this for a while. that we want to see one more time. Copeland and Christian, Edge and Christian, whatever you want to call them, but they are notorious and known for their comedy gimmick when
Yeah.
they are well. That's what I want to see. It's just them having fun with these comedy skits one more time together, and the fans will be happy with that. So, but yeah, I mean that certainly could happen post match for sure.
We'll see. We will see. Only got a week to find out. A surprising return for me on Collision this week. Well, I think me and you could beat Max Caster at the minute, given half a chance. But he done his he done his open challenge. And there was a video package that played for Scorpio Sky, and he comes back to the AEW. He's been gone. I don't know when the last time Scorpio Sky was on AEW telly. I thought he may have been in quietly released. To be quite honest, I wasn't sure. But he comes back, and he's joined by Top Flight, Layla Gray, and Christopher Daniels of all people. Was it a surprise to you when you found out it was Scorpio Sky? And where do they fit in right now in AEW?
Yeah, the whole thing with Scorpio Sky that did surprise me for sure. Um, it generated a lot of discussion on my page last night, so that's great. I hope they stick to it with Scorpio Sky. I think he's a very gifted talent. Yeah, dude, if I could be honest with you as well, I really thought, okay, well, they're not going to have no use for him, and then he's just going to be granted his, departure if that's what he wanted. Um, with Christopher Daniels being the manager, no, I don't think that's necessary.
Mm,
Um, but with Scorpio Sky being with Top Flight, there you go. That could be potentially another trios. Um, Layla Gray is an amazing talent as well. I think a lot of people are going to realize that once the ROH Women's Pure Championship tournament starts happening. Um, yeah, I hope they make the best of it because he's a really good talent. I just don't know what to make of it just yet.
time will tell, right? Because it's been week, not even been a week yet, so we will probably see more of that next week. I wanted to touch on the main event on Collision because again, this was if I could have had another 10 minutes of this match as well, by the way. This is the thing, what I always say when me and Dave used to sit here and do some AEW stuff, I usually say, I wish this match could have another 10. I wish this match could have been because it was so good. Carl Fletcher, Dan Garcia at the
Mm,
end of Collision was these two are just another unsung hero there in Daniel Garcia as well. Carl Fletcher's just kind of really hitting top heights right now. And just to go into a prediction, he's going to obviously have Adam Cole all in next weekend. I'm all over that. I feel as if Cole Fletcher absolutely will be beating Adam Cole next weekend. But these two guys, and this just shows the strength in depth and also the talented young stars that AEW have in at their disposal right now.
110% agree on that. On all accounts, really. I think that just highlighted what Daniel Garcia is really all about still. You know, but when it comes to, I'm going to be a little biased. I'm really loving Kyle Fletcher a lot. Shout out to that crowd on, what was it, Seattle? Like,
Yeah.
not this Saturday, but the last Saturday. Kyle, we
Yeah.
want. Oh gosh. Um, yeah, I mean, I posted this on the page today. It's amazing to know the first ever All in Wembley. He was just kicking around on the pre-show last year. He was just they needed something for him to be on the card, and
Yeah.
then this year, you know, I always say when you are patient in the business, you get rewarded, and I think that's what Kyle is showing. I love Adam Cole, but sorry, baby, I need the Protostar to hold that title. I think AEW has done really good about not flip flopping that TNT title like they used to a couple
Yeah.
years ago. But I think Kyle would really show a great title reign with that championship. Um, Originally, my prediction was going to be what do they call them now? Proto Shida
Something like
with
that.
Takeshita and Kyle.
Yeah.
So then maybe going for the tag team titles, but I'm glad that he's actually getting the opportunity
Yeah.
now to be on the main card of All In and maybe become champion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that's what I'm really hoping.
Yeah, that would be really good. I mean, much deserved for Carl Fletcher as well. Before we move on to the last few predictions, I want to just run off episode 301 of Dynamite this week. There lots have been announced already. Um, in a segment called Talkie Talk, we're going to hear from Mark Briscoe and the little kosher pickle. MJ, I don't know what's going to happen in that. I've got a feeling that's going to be well, it's not going to have a dull moment in it, is it? Let's be real about that. Samoa Joe, Wheeler Yuta, more in. I mean, that's just amazing on its own. You could put that as a main event. It's not the main event, but it could easily main event a show with those two. Wheeler Yuta, yet another unsung hero in AEW. Eats a few too many pins for my liking, but brilliant wrestler. And I can't wait for that. Face to face, we're going to talk about these two in a bit more detail in a minute. Tony Storm and Mercedes Mo, is it 6 belts, 7 belts, 10 belts? I don't know how many belts she's got now. Monet. Let's just actually talk about that now quickly. I mean, timeless Tony Storm, just never ever leave that character because it is just absolutely brilliant. Yes, you're going to have rip-offs. We've already discussed that already. Her promos with Mercedes have been brilliant. These two face to face, Gary, are going to be absolutely gold this week, isn't it?
Oh, gosh, yeah, very, very, very much agree. You know, I may have my opinion on Mercedes, but there's just no way of denying that she makes a feud really, really great and intriguing. So does Tony Storm. Um, I would not be surprised if this is the most talked about segment leading up to All In. I firmly believe that. So very much agree. It's timeless with the CEO, and you know this is certainly something that has me very, very intrigued. So um, I'm hoping Tony Storm wins, if I could be honest, but
Mm,
again, very unpredictable match here. So I
yeah.
don't know.
It will be. We'll get predicted in a minute. I think I got it wrong. It's not going to be gold, is it? It's going to be black and white this week, right? Because that's what Tony
Yes.
talks in. Do you know what this? Do you know what this needs? Is a third. It needs Harley Cameron there to really.
Oh gosh, gotta love Harley.
I didn't know that she sang the song for the inspiration in TNA until I heard it. Yeah. So
I did not.
yes. So I didn't know this either. They obviously they come back, and I said, "Oh, I like this quite a catchy song. I want to go onto YouTube and watch it." She sings it, and they still
No,
keep it to this day. Go and have a look. Go and have a
pretty
look
cool,
on. Here you go. You can post that later, something that you found out today on the page.
man.
Post the link to it. Great. Anyway, speaking of the women, more women's action, great, which is for AEW. We're going to be seeing, it's Tay J. Is that how they pronounce it? Or Ty J? I don't know how you want to. Tay J, Ty J. I'm going to have another trouble because it's another name that I'm going to struggle with. But Queen Animata, who I can pronounce quite easily. Now, is it Thekla? Is that her name? I don't know. Is it?
Yes.
Yes. Perfect. Great. I got that one right. They're going to be in action for the second spot in the women's casino gauntlet. So, with that in mind, Gary Joe, who wins that casino gauntlet for the women?
You know, I will say with those all-star tags, Megan Bain just so good.
Mhm.
I don't think it's going to be Megan though. I mean, what a crazy start to the match it would be though. Stat and Megan, whoa, to start that would be insane. Um, I'm gonna say Thekla wins.
Yes, okay.
Um, you know, I think she has the chance of being, you know, something and someone really great on this roster. And yeah, I'm gonna go with her. But man, that should be a really, really good match. I would like to see Ty Mello win too.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't see two faces starting the Casino Gauntlet. So
No. They won't.
Yeah. Oh, that should be a really good match too.
It should be on Dynamite. I'm saying Stat wins it because she's joining the Death Riders soon, in my opinion. That's my. Wait,
I think there's a mute button.
Well,
Oh no. I mean,
anyway.
ah, gosh, that I just don't know how I would feel her being a heel again. I think the story is really being told is Stat just wants her best friend,
Mm,
Willow. You know, that's all she wants. And Willow's giving her a hard time about it. Again, unpredictable storyline right now. I don't know what they're gonna
which is good. It's good. It's unpredictable, right? And then
do. Yes.
the main event for an all-star eight-man tag. We got the Bucks. We've got Claudio Castagnoli. Hi, Claudio Castagnoli. For those of you,
That was hilarious. You can't see me though. But hey, how's it going?
yeah, I'm still surprised. Did you see the theory on that?
I did, and people are denying it, but I really firmly believe that is accurate to the T.
It has to be. Why would you say? Why would you not say Cesaro? Because that was his name in the WWE, right?
Yes.
What? Because WWE fans, I mean, I know they did know who it was, obviously, because you could tell by the reaction. But if you're a WWE fan, you've never watched AEW, you'd be like, "Who's Claudio Castagnoli?" That's what you'd say, right? Because you've never done him before. That's what you know. So that's my opinion. I firmly agree, firmly on belief that was done legitimately for the obvious, while CM Punk was put through a Slim Jim table. By the way, now sponsored by Slim Jim. Um, don't even
He's
get me
gonna snap
started.
out of it apparently.
You can, if you want to know my feelings on that, I do another little show on the Worldwide Wrestling UK podcast, and I have a fear, and I have a very disturbing feeling about sponsorships in wrestling, in that side, in of that, on the companies of that stature. You can see that on that show. Just go have a look at that. But anyway, let's get back to this this tag team all star eight-man tag team or a fatal match. Will Hobbs, fantastic! Can't wait to see it. Main event. Brilliant, Will Hobbs. Obviously, Shibata's in there as well from the Ops. Hanger and Bruv in there. Conspicuous by his absence, though, Gary. Swerve is not in there.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that should be interesting. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I really like these matches, especially when you're highlighting one of your most amazing talents in the company. So I can't make a prediction it's going to be that good.
It's going to be great. Let's be honest. I was just made me laugh when Swerve wasn't there. Obviously, the storyline's still playing out with Hangman and co. But yeah, it was just quite a funny thing that this storyline that he wasn't there because normally they would have him in there because he's the one taking on the Bucks with Bruv, right? But not on this occasion because Hanger's in there. So, but Hang in there because that may change very very soon. That was such a bad line. That one that was an atrocious an atrocious one. But look, we got there's about one match left that we haven't spoken about at All In, and it's now changed. It's not just your average AEW World Title. Of course, it isn't. Why? It was never going to be your average match with Moxley in there anyway. And then you've got an absolute sicko like Adam Page in there who burns houses down and staples you and puts pins through you, tries to commit attempted murder on TV. So, of course, it was never going to be a match. And he decided to decapitate Marina Shafir this week with the buckshot lariat and get his wish of a Texas death match, Gary, in this. Are they going to be breathing at the end of this? Are we going to have to, what the hell? This is going to be absolutely brutal. But question upon question is that world championship finally going to be out of that briefcasey thing at the end of this and around the waist of Hangman, or is there another swerve to this story?
I think this is where they finally end it. I really, really do. This might be a bold prediction. I feel they're going to go the route how like WrestleMania 40 was.
Well, not with all the info. Oh my God, with the amount of the amount of bloody interference in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the Texas Death Match, that makes me believe there could be certainly some great opportunity here to make it memorable for Adam Page. I made this prediction as well. I could see Gabe Kennedy getting involved, but the Death Rider, sure, the Ops can do so much, but who else could save him? Eddie Kingston
Oh,
coming out to make sure Gabe Kidd, leaves, his, his footprints away from the match. I just, the crowd would go bananas, in the words of Tony Schiavone. Um, Most importantly, two other pieces. This person does not make his return, or sorry, these two, should I say, does not make their return at the Casino Gauntlet. I think you see Darby Allin and
yeah.
Brian Danielson helping him.
Danielson helping. Of course, yeah, because
Danielson,
they kicked him out, didn't they?
because the last time we saw Danielson in the full time ring is because the Death Riders did what they did. Suffocated him to be like, "You're gone. You're officially removed here." Fightful did say people within AEW could see Brian Danielson for a couple more matches, so I really could see that with Danielson. With Darby, I think it's no brainer. He is
Yeah.
going to seek his redemption as well.
Yeah. What about Sting?
I would love to see Sting too. I saw something about him maybe making an appearance or just a cameo. But yeah, an appearance would be great too. So that's why I'm feeling more and more like, okay, the fairy tale ending is finally here. And you know, at the end of the day, Death Riders, it would still be a thing, but whether people don't want to admit it or not, the Death Riders has really helped out AEW's eyeballs get noticed a lot more.
Mhm.
I've been seeing that. Um, but man, Adam Page really deserves it. I don't think Darby even cares if he does even come back and win the title. I think he just wants to be a team player. Darby even posted on his Instagram yesterday. Yeah, he's back in America and looks like he punctured near his rib cage doing a stunt yesterday. Darby Allen.
Never changed, Darby.
uh, but yes, I think that would be the most amazing way to cap off a pay per view. And I think, you for sure want to make sure those people are happy
Mm.
that leave that ballpark.
Yeah.
This is a huge deal. This is a very important pay per view just because it's on U.S. soil, man.
Yeah.
I always say this time and time again, the most loyal fans are the ones across the pond where you are. But man, this US audience, they need to prove it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Adam wins, but I'm not holding my breath.
We'll see. Was it
Talk about
Swerve hitting the last call on Moxley and then Hanger hitting the buckshot lariat to finish it off?
I don't think they're going to be involved.
Well, Swerve's not going to. Oh no, he's going to be too disappointed from losing the tag match, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I just
Maybe
had a
he
thought.
charged.
Now. Eddie Kingston wins the Casino Gauntlet.
Yeah, that means he can cash in anytime, right? Wow, I totally forgot about that.
Have
Oh,
we then missed a trick here? The winner of the Casino Gauntlet cashes straight in after that match at All In. I know you people could say that's WWE booking, pal, but I'm just, AEW have never done that before. I don't think.
I want to say maybe the last time they ever did that, something like that on a big pay per view like this, Seth Rollins, Heist of the Century.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. I just now that you're making me think about the Battle Royal winner now, who could win that too? Like, who could win that Casino
But you could
Battle
have said
Royal?
that. Moxley beats Adam Page, Darby Allin cashes straight in. Sting comes out, hits him with the bat, Darby Allin hits the coffin drop.
Can I pay you via Venmo? Do they have Venmo?
Yeah, I'm available, Tony. If you want me, I'm sure we can work something out. But no, again, it was just you there because I totally forgot that they can cash that in at any point, and then that's just kind of bringing it into. I think the winner of that, we will kind of get our indication as to whether that's possible with whoever's in it and whoever wins it. I think we'll get an idea then from there. Is my personal opinion on that. Maybe
I just hope they don't do what they did last time, and that was Christian Cage coming out there
that won't
losing.
happen again this year. Honestly,
But Tony even said in an interview this week that he's leaving it to the fans to what AEW should do. So Tony really does that very well. So
we'll leave it up to him. But I may have put if he watches it, he may have another thought put in his head if he hasn't already thought about it. Anyway, but as we wrap up, Gary Joe, look, as you say, you're on TikTok, you're everywhere. I saw Honor the Elite pop up back on Instagram, which was great to see after all the shenanigans that you had with that as well. But what have you got coming up? But you're a very busy man. So what's going
yeah,
on?
a lot of great things. Very, you know what? I'm gonna probably tag them on this too. Share this clip. Jill and Jules has been the most amazing support system when it comes to creation. They extended one more year to our working relationship, and they want me to join them later this year. They didn't specify when and where. I will be co-assisting with photography. That is pretty freaking cool. I'm like, I only take photos off my phone, but okay. No, and I'm very excited for that. And then coming up in September, I will finally be interviewing them as well. Exciting times for that. I did get a email from AEW Media this past Thursday. Can't wait to announce something close to that. Let's see, when else I go? Oh yeah, so if anybody wants to follow the FTR, follow the Revolution Facebook page, you can head over on there. I will be doing a predictions for AEW throughout the fall, starting up in September. That's going to be a lot of fun. So it will be it's going to be elimination style. Should be a lot of fun. The winner gets a t-shirt from AEWshop.com provided by me. I will be doing finally weekly recaps of Dynamite starting on the 16th of July. Too bad the time differences would not work in your favor there, Adam, because I would love to have you on that.
Yeah.
On those recaps after Dynamite ends, but be a little late over there.
Yes, just a bit.
I think it'll be like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Be later, I think. Dynamite finishes at no, you're right. Yeah, it'd be about 3 a.m. Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
It would be okay to wake up your son and Rachel, right?
Well, that's all right. My son ain't here, so Rachel will be sound out by that time.
Why are you guys yelling? Go to bed.
Exactly that.
But yeah, exciting times, man. Again, the support of the girls have been great. Everybody on Follow the Revolution has been fantastic. Adam, per usual, man. I really like, talking about AEW with you as much as we can.
Yep.
And I'm sure you want to promote something that I've been promoting on my page. Very happy for you guys.
Yeah, thank you. And whatever could that be? No, that isn't. No, we have just announced today. We're going to one final time. Buckle up, free. The trilogy. It's been the most stressful show in the world to book. I can't go into the reasons why, but I know you know those reasons, Gary, because I've told you those reasons why. It's been quite a stressful one to book. All the names haven't been announced yet. We're holding off for a good reason on a few of them. So more on that when we can. But the early bird tickets are already on sale, and I believe around 14 to 15 have already gone since the announcement this afternoon. So that's great. Go to 96 Eventbrite. Type in Buckle Up Free. You can still get tickets for Ignite Breaking Point next Sunday. That's going to be an incredible show as well. There's around 20 tickets left, I think, for that. The last two rows have just gone on sale. So you can go to 96 event, Brian, do that one. Why not get them both at the same time? You're going to be in for a hell of a treat for Buckle Up Free. That's all I can say right now. We're previewing, actually, Breaking Point tomorrow with the Ignite promoter CJ Carr. He takes his regular seat on the show tomorrow to promote that. On top of that, I will get round to reviewing All In next week, along with everything else that we're going to be reviewing next week as well. Got some interesting guests coming on. I should have an AEW one that I can't announce yet because it's not out. After All In, before Forbidden Door. He's a machine after all. Hopefully that's a little bit a giveaway. So hopefully I'll be getting that in there. Just a big shout out to Tom Latimer last week. That drops this week. That was a great interview with myself, Fiona, celebrating our 100th NWA Power review last week.
Wow.
Yeah, so I know it's crazy. 101 this week, and I'll be on my own this week because Fiona is doing a 17-hour trip to the Shetland Islands for wrestling. All the things that she does for wrestling, she's going to be leaving me in the lurch this week. So it will just be moi on the NWA Power review, which will be interesting. But yeah, you can catch that as well. Get more guests to be announced, but I've actually got a musical guest, funnily enough.
Oh.
No, actually I can announce it because we've all agreed. It's going to be in August. Now, I don't necessarily think he's like a musical star in the charts or ever, but if you go to Spotify, I'm going to do that right now because I wanted to get his details up, and then where is it? Let's have a look at him because I need to find him now. And if you type in if we wrote the theme by David Bartholomew and Will Scar. They've got an album of them writing wrestling themes. Now he's got over 600,000 likes on TikTok, and he'll be joining me, and will both be joining me in August. So I really wanted to just give him a bit of love because he's coming on the show in August, and he does a lot of cover songs of themes, and it's very interesting to see. So yeah, that's a scoop. There you go. That's a scoop. I haven't announced that properly, so you get a scoop. But he'll be coming on in August. So there's one for August. Also, WWE former women's champion, I think Layla will be coming on at some point as well. So keep it locked on the channels at HTT Buckle on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on all other social media channels. Gary, it's been wonderful as always talking to you. Keep fighting the good fight over there across the pond for AEW. We will definitely do this quicker than we did for the last couple of months. It obviously won't be next week because I'm at the show at Ignite, but we'll do this again in probably the week after, I would assume, for some more chats. We can. But guys, keep it locked. As Gary said, you can follow them. Make sure you do. Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Follow us everywhere. And until next time, when we do this again, stay elite, everybody, and stay safe and goodbye.